Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 16 of the Migtown podcast, your only weekly source for all things of Drexel going in on these hoes. As always, I'm producer Tim, and with me is the mayor of Migtown himself, Drexel. Say hi.
Hello to everybody out there. As you guys know, I dedicated this episode to all the subscribers, but there was a couple of things that we talked about in our last live chat that really inspired this episode. And when I get to those segments, I will give a shout out to two of the guys out there, which is Darth Lightskin and Leximus and Miss Leximus. So I guess three people. And the issue of the day is reputations and consequences, right? And I've been talking to a lot of you guys. We have a hell of a time in the live Q&A because we get to really just kind of fucking let loose, especially when our girl J Love comes in. And I started just really thinking about a lot of the reputations that get formed and how those reputations really can either benefit your life or certain aspects of your life or completely ruin it, right? And I wanted to start with the issue of relationships, right? And the lack of vetting your partner, because as you guys know, there's yet another breakup, right? Allegedly, A Rod and J Lo have called it quits, even though there's reports now saying they're just going through some things and all that kind of nonsense, right? And the reason why I think that's so important to look at is because, people always think that, when you reach a certain level, your reputation is one thing. A lot of these people are just lying to themselves and lying to the media, like, the Princess Dianas of the world. Make no mistake, the Princess Dies, the Meghan Markles, these are public personas. Their reputations are based on a facade. So when you look at someone like Jennifer Lopez, this woman this was Alex Rodriguez would have been her fourth marriage. So to put this back in perspective, she was married to a dude, Ojani Noah, from 1997, 1998, right? It didn't even last a full year. Then she was married to Chris Judd, 2001 to 2003. And then her longest marriage, of course, was to a guy who had, more status and more money, which was Mark Anthony, hence she had kids, right? And her current net worth is estimated at $400 million. Congratulations for her. But the A-Rod would have been her fourth husband. And we know how women and their expectations and their hypergamy works. So if you wind up being on a fourth marriage, could you imagine just being at the altar and saying the same vows and actually meaning it? You know what I'm saying? Like, you care to cherish this person as long as you both shall live. You're thinking like, I've already done this 3 times.
Yeah, 3 more rings and she gets up to Tom Brady's level.
Yeah, right? It's absurd. I mean, Liz Taylor was married, I think, was it 6 or 7 times? Like, Larry King, some of these people that they get married over and over. And Thots, if you notice, I've always said, Tim, Thots and simps are the same person, just opposite ends. So simps get married and seek that validation just like Thots. J-Lo was a fucking thought, you know. Go look at her body count, all the different places she's been. P. Diddy here,
Fuck.
Ben Affleck there. Like, come on, man.
You see her wiggling her ass at the Super Bowl halftime show?
Yeah,
and you
old
don't
ass.
Yeah,
old ass out there wiggling. Like, no one wants to see that shit. And the reason
hey, no. I definitely wanted to see that. It was much better than watching The Weeknd, right?
It was better than watching Mick Jagger.
A shirtless, what's his name, Levine.
Yeah.
Right? Like, or fucking Janet
happened.
Jackson, right? Like, there are worse things to see at a Super Bowl halftime show.
Don't get me wrong, there are worse things, but let's face it, there's better things to see at a fucking Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, Shakira wiggling her ass was much better.
Yeah, better than Jennifer Lopez is done, man. She hit the wall a long time ago. But
she looked all right.
Yeah, just Google Jennifer Lopez no makeup and see what she really looks like.
I refuse to Google those things because don't ruin the illusion. Look, there's a lot of things that are fake in this world. Pamela Anderson's tits are one of them, but I still enjoy them. Right? Pamela Anderson's tits are a service to mankind, fake as shit as they are.
They were in, like 95.
Yeah.
Well, The reason why I brought up the A Rod and J Lo kind of thing, and the Kim and Kanye, and how did you first find out about Kim Kardashian? Right, we found out about Kim Kardashian from a sex tape. We found out about Jennifer Lopez, Miss Jenny from the Block, when she was the chubby Spice Girl dancing, shaking her ass. Right. When you start investigating these people and you wonder why all their relationships fail, Kim Kardashian has been married 3 times. There's a reason for this. Listen, man, no one can outrun their reputation. You understand? And when you look at these lockdown couples, they are struggling. Okay. And you look at all the things that have happened during these lockdowns, right? Like, there was the Capitol riots, right? People made choices, and they made choices that had an effect on their reputation, right? And based on that reputation, there were consequences. The consequences of going out there and waving an American flag or saying, I'm going to take this back, or I'm going to do this, when the time and the place was all wrong, these same people, when they wound up catching cases, what happened? "Oh, I want some kind of immunity. I'm sorry for what I did." See, now you don't want to deal with the consequences. No, no, no. Have that same gusto when the time comes, right? Whatever it may be. And this is not me, attacking the people who did it. I'm just saying, like, that was not the time and place to do what the hell you were doing, and you know how the media is going to spin it. You have to think about that. So when I look at the election fallout, and Stacey Dash apologizing for supporting Donald Trump, we were talking about this in the live chat. The issue of trends, and betas and women seem to be the most susceptible to getting into trends, right? Like, when it's popular to support a certain person, they do it. When it becomes unpopular, they don't do it. They say, "Oh, I was never like that." That's why, if you notice, Mattress Girl, people like that, they start flipping. You're always like, "Well, what the hell happened? How did you go from one extreme to another?" The reputation mattered. You see what I'm saying? When their reputation took a hit and there were consequences to being one identity, they had to flip it up and switch shit up to say, "No, no, no, that's not me. I'm really this." And just further stem from the reputations, we're going to address hookup culture, because Darth Lightskin and I were talking about this, and we talked about it also in the live chat with everybody. Hookup culture versus traditional monogamous relationships. And when you start listening to all this stuff about, where have all the good men gone? You know, and my reaction to all the ladies who asked that question, because they're all post fucking wall, right? My reaction: sorry, ladies, you played yourself, right? You played yourselves. All the women who were pushing, free love, sexual liberation, I want to explore everything. They said that after they got out of their mom and daddy's house, right? And then when they went out to college and got ran through, whether it be Auburn or anywhere else, doing all kinds of crazy fuck shit, going behind their boyfriend's back. It was all a game. See? But ladies, it was all a game, but you were developing a reputation. And always remember this: do not fall for the egalitarian utopian lie. Men and women are not the same. The rules are not the same. The paths are not the same. Okay. So when we look at the hookup culture and people out here just doing the most, look, here's what happens. Not only you're going to lose your ability to pair bond. I mean, you basically, women basically lose their ability to pair bond. Most women, I would say, it's about 5 bodies. Your average woman cannot pair bond after 5 bodies. Depending on, I mean, some of them, that was in one night, right? Depending on what they were doing. If they had 5 relationships, or just even just let's just say the same 5 guys, frequent bodies. Like, oh, this is a friend with Benz, or I had the one fuck buddy for a year, whatever the case may be. Most women can't survive 5 bodies. After that, they completely lose the ability to pair bond. Fair enough, but don't come back later, ladies, when your reputation is, oh yeah, that's Miss Firehead right there. Don't come back later when you suffer the consequences of being Miss Firehead. That's why shout out to everybody who has kept me posted on these Tinder profiles. Everyone who's posted, female dating strategy, right? Women who are holding their L's online, man. They post that shit proudly, looking stupid. Okay. And shout out to Miss Lexmas for bringing that up, because all those girls who were trying to tear her down, fuck those bitches, by the way. Let me just start by saying that, because they want to tear her down to their level. You see what I'm saying? Because their reputation is a thought. There's nothing that intimidates and hurts a thought more than a good girl, especially if she's attractive or she gets the quality male attention. Because women see when guys look at a certain girl and they go, "Oh no, I want a monogamous traditional relationship with her." And this includes the bad boy. This is what really gets them so bothered and flustered. The girls out there, the Annas of the world, who's a subscriber to the show, a fan of Nick's show, shout out to her. The girls who are out there who are virgins who want traditional relationships, women, thoughts hate it because what ends up happening is that those are the girls who can get any guy. You can be average to above average as a woman right now and be a virgin. And as long as you're young, ladies, you can get any guy. Like I've always said, that part of 50 Shades of Grey is actually accurate because a lot of people have said, "Oh, Drex, that movie's all fantasy because no guy in his position is going to get with a girl like her." Like, wrong. He's dealt with nothing but thoughts. When you looked at his assistants, they were all models and shit, right? He has no interest in them. Yeah, he'll chain them up, tie them up, smut them out, but they don't mean anything to him. See, so the monogamous traditional relationship has gone completely AWOL. And when I dedicate this part to Mr. Darth Lightskin about the stories, the college experiences that these hoes are out here getting ran through. And I had a lady friend of mine talk to me about what her daughter was doing, fake IDs, and getting with older men, right? Like when I say older men, you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't mean no guy who was 25 when they were 20. I'm talking, you guys know what I'm talking about. This is basically to go into what Coach Greg Adams talked about, which is Georgia State University has the highest rating of or highest magnitude of sugar babies. Okay. These girls out here monetizing themselves, which means they're prostitutes. Okay. Whether you're on OnlyFans or you got a sugar daddy or you're out here getting with older men, all you're doing is increasing your body count. By the time you do get a guy, do you ever notice when you see, for all you guys out there who have seen these women who become moms, whether they're a single mom or in a relationship, and they're somewhere in between the age of, let's say, 24 and 30. And these are these goddamn helicopter moms who want to pawn the kid off on somebody, right? Do you know why they want to pawn the kid off? Because I still want to live my best life. YOLO. The reason they have that mentality is because all they know is going around doing fuck shit. You see what I'm saying? Running the streets, going up. Seriously, I always tell you guys, you know what kind of woman you're dealing with by her reputation. Do you know where you can find out about a woman's reputation? Walk up to her closet. Walk up to her closet, open that shit up and see what's in there. Open the drawers. See what kind of clothes and lingerie and all of a toy drawer. When you see a girl with a toy drawer, because she's been having power tools drilling all of her fucking holes since she was, I don't know. Usually once women can get out of the house, they don't really have that in high school like that. But somewhere between ages, I would say 18 to 25 is when they start getting all these toys and they go and brag to their friends about the new toy they got, the new butt plug, the new this, the new that. Yeah. And now you want a monogamous relationship. But see, you already have that reputation. You're just a pass around. You're a jump off. So when you wind up getting that reputation, and this is definitely for these ladies out here who want to really get wild in college and experiment with the most, when you're doing things with other girls, you're letting the whole team run trains. Just know, ladies, that there's consequences to that. So don't come back. And if you guys notice, this is that stage where women are the most defiant, right? They're at their peak sexual market value, and they're always running their mouth how they don't need somebody. And, this guy ain't shit. This is also the era, if you guys have noticed, where they're very cruel when they go ahead and reject men. When a guy rejects a woman, he'll just like, no, thank you. You're not my type, or no, thanks, I have a girlfriend. He'll be polite to her. Men don't want to like hurt women's feelings and embarrass. Guys don't make scenes, right? They don't make scenes to embarrass women by rejecting them. And I sent the guys a video about, there was a girl who was in a parking lot. of a gas station, and she had a complete meltdown. Shout out to my man Jada Black for doing the video on it. She had a complete meltdown because there was a car full of guys who obviously she was attracted to. They didn't even acknowledge her existence on earth. They paid her no attention. Girls like her prove their reputation by the way they dress, by the way they talk, by the way they act. Because of that reputation that you are now proving with everything that you say and do and present yourself, the consequences then is they will only view you as a streetwalker. See? And then now these are the same girls who come on crying, oh, why aren't they paying attention to me? No, you chose that. You chose that. Just like all these girls I hear who are feminists and they got liberal values. And, I always ask, how is that going to play out for you, ladies? How is the feminist mantra, the liberal mantra, eventually going to play out? Now, here's how it's going to play out. Let's just say you get your career. Congratulations. Let's just say you have all the crazy sex on you just keep swiping left and swiping right. Congratulations. Everything you are doing is the masculine path, the male path. See, a male can rack up a body count of 100 thoughts, meet the one quality good girl who's a virgin and submissive and young and fertile and attractive, and he can jump off like Thanos snap. It's over. So when people see him, they're like, "Damn, you got to go." I found a good one. I'm done. I'm done being. There was that Big Pun song, still not a player, right? I don't want to be a player no more. And it's real. It's very real. So when you wind up getting yourself attached to certain ideologies, right? And feminism is an ideology that's totally destructive because it's going to it's going to destroy what you could have with a good quality man. But of course, as you rack up that damn body count and you can't pair bond anymore, and you wind up basically you're hypergamy, you're going to compare that one man to all the dicks that have been in you. Oh, but this guy had a little thug edge. This guy had a mean romantic streak. This guy was just a baller. He was a sugar daddy. So now no man will compare, right? But had you gotten with a quality man and you guys did your thing, you wouldn't be in this situation, right? And that's why you start seeing all this high rate of women in the workforce hooked on drugs, because now the reputation is caught up. The reputation is just by being an unmarried woman in your 30s, dudes already know, oh, you're just a jump off. See, now it has consequences. You didn't feel these consequences when you were 22. At 32 and 42, when the wall has smacked you in the damn face, now you feel it. And that's why I want to shout out to my man Leximus and his girlfriend, Miss Leximus, because I talked to J Love about this, one of the subscribers, a dear friend of mine, and I said, J Love, did you notice there was a compare and contrast there? When we talked to Miss Leximus, could you hear her voice? It's very soft, very sweet, very demure, and she's not argumentative. She doesn't have that masculine energy that a lot of these broads have out here.
Yeah, very
Well, guess
feminine.
what? Yeah, she's very feminine. Like if you listen to her voice, and do you know why? And shout out to her. Obviously there's no docs in here, but when she said she was at the hospital for whatever reason, and they were trying to tell her it's okay. How many people have you been with? One. No, it's okay. We don't shame here. You can let us know. We all know all these girls that they say whatever. What's the real number? She's like, no, really. I was a virgin. I have a boyfriend. One. My body count is one. Tim.
She's the unicorn.
Remember what I said on Nick's show? That's a unicorn. On Nick's show, I go, look around you guys. There, and TFM said this. He said there was a time when a man expected to get a fertile, young, attractive virgin. Look around now, they're asking you to wife up ratchet, fat, feminist single moms, right? So when I look at women like Miss Leximus, and the reason why guys like Mr. Leximus will look at that and say, I got a good one. This is the consequence of thought culture, right? Because there's been nothing but hoes and thoughts and TikTok challenges. When you finally find a good one, if you have to simp, I can't knock a guy for simping for a fertile, attractive, submissive virgin. I'm not honestly like that to me is not simping. Simping is when you're sitting here with some used up thought like fucking Jennifer Lopez. Like, why are you getting on one knee for this? She's not allowed to wear white on her wedding day. She's not a virgin, right? She's nothing. So when you compare and contrast, do you notice, Tim, when we've done interviews and we've talked to women in the chat, these women have body counts and they all have a certain energy they give off, right? Now, if I were to ask you, Tim, did any of the ladies we interview or talk to, did any of them have the same energy as Anna or Miss Leximus? You would say no,
No,
right?
no,
So what's the
no.
difference
Miss
between
J Love is like the opposite of Miss Leximus.
absolutely. Do you know how that happens? By racking up a body count, right? That's how you get the whole. That's how you have these experiences. Now she's still my girl. I love J Love. Good friend of mine, 15 years, but she understands now, and that's why. Do you notice these are the girls who are saying like, these dudes ain't shit, and they aren't about this, that, and the other. The reason they say that is because now they realize that door has closed. The marriage door with a quality man has closed. See, because now you've developed that reputation. Because remember, a lot of these girls, Tim, they've been on multiple dating sites, right? And I'll tell you right now, Tim, there's a lot of girls. Like prime example, if you are in a place that is fairly, let's just say fairly white, right? And let's just say you are a white female, and you're like, oh, I'm attracted to black men, or I'm attracted to Latino men. If you've been on the carousel, guess what? Newsflash. People know about you, right? I mean, you sit there and go out. It's like think about it. If you're in Iowa, if you're in Washington State and something, there's not that many black dudes if you're a white woman. So the same black dudes are smashing all the same white chicks. So eventually that reputation gets back. The white community is gonna be like, oh yeah, she's she's a swirler or whatever. She does this, that, and the other. But it's like you start to look around. You're like, oh my god, I've jumped on every dick in Washington State. That's at least in your area, right? Like within let's say a 50-mile radius, and it hits you pretty quick. You're like, how come these guys don't want commitment? You're on every dating app, busting that thing wide open. Now you suffer the consequences. See, the reputation of being wild in bed has consequences. The reputation of I don't need no man, masculine energy has consequences. See, and when you start to suffer the consequences, when these women hit the wall, you can feel it. Miss Leximus doesn't have that energy, right? She's just sitting there like, yep, schoolwork. She's very nice, very sweet, very calm. There's no aggression in her voice. And when you look at the options that these young men have, I got to give a shout out to my man Joker, Better Bachelor, excellent channel. Subscribe to him if you guys haven't. I'm assuming anybody who's probably listening to this, wherever they are in the world, is aware of Joker and Better Bachelor. And hopefully his dad gets well. Shout out to him. And he did a video where he reviewed a couple of articles about something very pressing that really stems from this. And it was about that more men are playing games, video games, over casual hookups, right? The 80-20 rule is in full effect. You understand? And when you really think about this, right? This is what's going to lead to the sex doll revolution. And that's when our beloved friend Dollhouse Phil is going to be saying businesses are booming. Okay. Because at the end of the day, the 80-20 rule, the reputation that you gain from going to chase that 20% getting passed around. Remember Tommy Lauren, Tim, the Men Are Trash video? Remember that? See, let me ask you something, Tim. Do you think Tommy Lauren has a reputation amongst the wealthy men, like in the media circles that she's chasing after? You think she has a reputation?
Probably.
Now, did you notice that reputation has led her to suffer the consequences of her reputation, which is, yes, men will fuck you, Tommy Lauren, and my friends and your friends, but no one wants to commit to any of you. Did you notice? Remember she said that. Remember that, Tim? They can't get a commitment, right? Me and my friends, we can't get a commitment because these guys are playing games. Are you single? Are you single? See, Miss Leximus doesn't have to ask that. You see what I'm saying? When you don't ride the carousel, you don't deal with any of these problems, ladies. These are called consequences because you have a reputation, okay? As the rapper of the game said, when at UNLV, come catcher. When that's your reputation, you are going to suffer the consequences. You can make all the money you want, doesn't matter. You can be on whatever Blaze TV, Fox News, it doesn't matter. You can be on magazine spreads, posting thirst traps on Instagram and all that. Doesn't matter. Your reputation, it's always going to precede you. With dudes, the opposite is true. if you are a guy and you have a reputation of smashing broads, women aren't repulsed by that. They don't run away from that. They run toward it. That's why women love men in power, rock stars, bad boys. That's why they run toward them. They should run toward good guys. And to be fair, there are bad guys who have a heart of gold. I will admit that. Because there are bad guys who, if they found the right girl, they would be like, yo, I'm out of that life, right? But what you're starting to see is that there's going to be a price to pay for shunning the average guy. That's why the 80-20 rule is so important. Because, like I said, you see this in the Black community where 52% of Black men never actually reproduce in their lifetime. So that's where all the ratchet baby mamas comes from. And then they come to look for you later on. Where are you at? You need to be the stepdad to step up. No, fuck that. Suffer the consequences, German Shepherd, for your reputation of being fast. See? So now I tell you guys, your actions have equal and opposite reactions. And there's always someone watching. Okay? When you guys are out there doing something, this is for the ladies and the guys, there's always someone watching because they're waiting to do one of two things. They're waiting to jump to aid you, or they're looking to jump to fucking destroy you. You understand? There are people out there that watch how you move. Let me see how this person moves. Hold up, Tim. Hey, who's that? Who's that guy right there? Let me see. Okay, he carries himself well. I see him going to work every day. Let me ask about that guy. Who is that guy? And people start saying, yo, he's a good kid, comes from a good family, he's a hard worker. And you know what happens when you have that reputation, Tim? People want to help you. They come up, hey, yo, man, I heard about, you're looking for a job, or I heard you're this. I heard this. When people approach you, talking about they've heard good things about you and they want to give you an opportunity, do you ever notice, Tim? Those opportunities always seem to present themselves to people who put in the work, right? You go to work, you put in the work, you're busting your ass. All of a sudden, oh my God, these opportunities just came. Damn, Drex, it just dropped into my lap. And then you have those people who are out to destroy you, right? I want you guys to really think about all those people out there that are sitting back looking at your reputation, right? Let's say you have a reputation for being generous. There is a snake in the grass waiting for you to give them something for nothing, okay? Now, when your consequence is, oh my God, I'm broke. Well, let me go. And now, because I've taken care of so many people, let me go ask them to help me. Sorry, man, I ain't got it. See how that flips around? See? They're out to destroy you. Okay. And when I think about all the destruction in the world, Tim, there's somebody who I want to dedicate a special little segment to. It's a very particular man. I got a little article here from the AP, right? Top Dems call on Cuomo to resign amid harassment allegations by Marina Villanueva, Steve Peoples.
How quickly they eat their own.
They eat their own, right? Now, remember, in politics, everything is about your reputation, right?
Oh, is it ever?
It's all about optics, right? Remember, you don't have to be a good person behind closed doors, but as long as that camera is running, as long as a news outlet is recording you, there's a certain expectation on how you are to act and behave and to pander so that you gain a reputation. Oh, that person has this reputation, right? Because let's face it, Elizabeth Warren has a reputation, right? Marco Rubio has a reputation. Ted Cruz has a reputation. Donald Trump has a reputation. Joe Biden has a reputation. See, they try to shift their reputations to align with what is studied in political science, populist theory, right? You try to just kind of go with the flow to see that's how these people always flip. That's why you'll see them when people start digging up old shit about you, and you all of a sudden you're like, oh damn, I got caught being racist, I got caught being sexist, I got caught being something. That's how that happens because you're trying to be an opportunist. So as I look at this article, we're going to go through this, guys. We're going to have some fun. Albany, New York. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo confronted a stunning series of defections Friday amid allegations of sexual harassment that left the high-profile Democrat fighting for his political survival angry and alone. By days in, the three-term governor had lost the support of almost the entire 29-member New York congressional delegation and a majority of Democrats in the state legislature. None of the desertions hurt more than those of New York's two U.S. senators, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. That phony ass broad. Remember, she was all about Me Too. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
All about Me Too. But when Biden had those allegations, where was Kirsten Gillibrand? Remember where she was at?
Gillibrand was probably still at the Supreme Court yelling about Kavanaugh.
Probably, yeah, knowing her, right? Fake ass bitch. So here we are looking at Andrew Cuomo, right? Me too, believe all women, right? And this is what these beta cucks do, because this goes back to populist theory, right? You want to build your reputation on running around, holding up a picket fence, running around virtue signaling, right? To gain a reputation, because you believe that reputation is going to get you all these goodies, right? And then all of a sudden you suffer the consequences, like you just said, Tim. They always eat their own, right? They always do it. So when that day comes and they come for you, and they're going to come for Chuck Schumer eventually. Don't worry, it'll happen. They'll come for Biden again, and then he'll leave office, and then Kamala Harris will be in office. You try to build these reputations, and this is the reason why people like Kamala Harris suddenly become black, right? She wants to flip her reputation to benefit at that time, right? And when you hold these people accountable, they say, and then they got to try to use shaming language, right? And that's why I always preach this philosophy. When you go your own way, understand there are consequences. Yes, you will lose lots of friends. Yes, you will lose family members that want you on that goddamn plantation. For all my guys out there who, yeah, look, man, it can be a rough path. It can be a lonely path, but you should always embrace being alone. Never be lonely. Be alone, not lonely. If you want to invite someone into your life that is an asset, not a liability, you want to invite someone in your life that shares your beliefs, shares in your goals, that wants to help you, then by all means, you can invite them in. And because when you look at this philosophy, when you look at even even the acronym itself gets censored, guys get deplatformed, all that. Shout out to my man TFM, the immortal TFM. They've done everything they can to destroy him, but it's like the message lives on. The message lives on because there is a reputation that gets attached to you when you're red pill, right? And people know, like, oh man, you're not gonna be able to just manipulate this guy like you can most of these blue pill simps, right? And you always think to yourself, Tim, to all you guys out there, how many men's lives has this philosophy saved? How many guys were ready to get on bended knee again for a single mom and ruin their life? How many guys were close to swallowing a shotgun, Kurt Cobain style? How many guys were just kind of like, Drex, I'm just going to go get fat. I just don't care about anything anymore, because they had no direction. They had nothing. Their reputation was basically that of a loser. They had people shaming them, but they found inner strength in brotherhood, listening to guys like myself, listening to guys like Coach Greg Adams, guys like Better Bachelor, guys who are saying, yo, Mr. Elite, some of the older guys, Hammerhand, shout out to my man Hammerhand. He's sitting in a truck. Sydney Migtown out in Australia, shout out to my man. There's dudes out here who have figured out that, yo, man, we're getting played, okay? And I don't want my reputation to be that of a fucking simp. I don't want my reputation to be that of the person who goes like this. I'm going to be a Andrew Cuomo, right? I want to be a male feminist. I want to be an ally. And then when they come for you, now those consequences hit, and you don't want that smoke. See, when you go your own way, you already know the consequences. You're like, oh, yep, I already know. Yep, people are going to accuse me of being gay. They're going to this. They're going to say that. They're going to try to do these things to me, because ultimately you aren't serving them, okay? And what I tell these guys, as you kind of morph into your new identity, it's like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly, right? As you guys expand and you get to this point where you find a new identity as you grow, right? And you stop simping. Do you know what you find? Do you know what happens in this new identity that you'll find, this new reputation? Your money increases. Your options increases. The amount of places that you can go, the things that you can do by having more resources, it increases. And you will be, here's the thing, it's better, right? You're going to be able to be better prepared in seeing the reputations of others and the consequences of others laid bare. So if you think about it, if you ask most guys, right, and you ask them, before you really discover the red pill, before you really, embrace this philosophy, If I showed you a movie or you listened to a song, you just danced to it, you were entertained by it, you didn't give it much thought. But once once you go ahead and strip away the illusion, what ends up happening is you go, wait a minute, I can point this shit out easier. It's kind of like with in the gay community, they call it the gaydar, right? If you ask a gay person, can you point out someone gay? They will see that you're like, how did you know? Like, I don't understand. How could you? They're like, oh, I just know. You're like, well, how? What? And they go, I just have the ability to see it. You're like, damn, that's crazy. It's no different than being red pill. You can spot a simp. So you'll have a guy that'll sit there and go like this, yo, Drex, Kevin Samuels man, he's so red pill. He goes at these German shepherds. Yeah, look, I'm a fan of Kevin Samuels. There's things about him I like. But when I always tell you guys, be weary of guys hopping in suits talking about female validation. Like, what makes you a high value man? Why do you want to get all this high value? You're going to be a fucking target. You understand? So your reputation as a high value man, Kevin Samuels, your reputation is going to attract the wrong kind of attention. Gold diggers. You understand what I'm saying? So when you wind up in that position and you suffer the consequences going, I thought she was different, you're going to fall victim of a fucking chameleon. You understand? You have a reputation. All reputations breed consequence. And so when I look at some of these things, the ladies out there, especially the ladies, I want to let you ladies know something. This is for you guys. The reputations of the Thots have hurt the quality girls that you guys are. And it's hurt your dating market. You understand? So all the girls out there who are saying, like, well, Drex is nothing but simps. We talked about this in the live chat, Tim, that, Darth Lightskin and I, there's a few other guys who talked about it. They said, yo, more and more women are coming to the manosphere to look for answers because they start to realize, oh, these bitches have been lying to me. All these female dating shows, it's a lie.
The false swan song of feminism has let them down.
That's actually a very apropos, Tim, swan song. Because have you noticed you're starting to see girls like, here's the thing, feminism is basically on its last legs, right? It's just collapsing, right? But you're starting to see like so when something is going to collapse, you always have the X% that are going to double down on it, right? I'm going to double down on my feminism. And then you're gonna have those people who are kind of like fence straddling, and then the people who go, "Oh no, fuck this! This is a sinking ship." And I look at that situation, and I just think to myself, "Damn, ladies, you dropped the ball." Because now, and Tim, you and I have talked about this. The Dollhouse Phil talked about it. You've had so many terrible women run amok that now a guy is kind of like he'll be one of two things. He'll be like, "I don't know if you're a chameleon or not," or he'll just be like this. I just don't even care. And Tim, I want you to really think about that. All you guys out there, really think about this for a second. Being weary of a chameleon is one thing, but not even caring to me is far worse from the woman's perspective, right? Because Tim, I want you to imagine being a woman, right? You're a good girl, you've done the right thing, you want to get married and stuff, and you're looking.
All right, well, I'm gonna start playing with my tits right now. Give me a second.
Go ahead and fondle. Well, the thing is though, when you get to that point and you want to go the more traditional path, you're like, yo, I'm not on that board with what these ladies are doing. What ends up happening is you wind up into what happened to our poor girl Anna when she's like, there's nothing but simps or players, right? Once again, the 80-20 rule. So then you wind up kind of being like left out to dry, like, well, what the hell do I do? It's like, man, your options are going to only get slimmer as a woman as you age, right? And you think about this, and it's like the reputations of the many have affected all women now. You see what I'm saying? But virtually all women. So now, and this kind of goes into, it ties into what I've always said about single moms. Single moms raise the boys and girls that they always complain about, right? Oh my God, why is this guy so beta? Why is it? But who probably raised him? A single mom, right? Look at guys like Ellie and Roger. It's either a single mom or a beta father, right? So that's feminism, right? And one of the things that I've noticed, Tim, is that they don't want to take accountability for anything, right? They have to lie to themselves first to fit their own definition of what their reputation is. That's why, if you notice, and you guys know this, all you guys out there who've seen like, guys roast dating profiles, or you've even heard women say it in person, right? They also about, I live for my kids and my kids come first. They say that because that's what helps their reputation, right? And they post pictures, just no different than the Disney World dad, right? The guy, who ain't really in the picture. He just does one or two things a year and tries to pretend that he's the best dad ever. Same thing happens on the other side. These people, they wind up lying to themselves so that they can create kind of like their own narrative, their own persona, right? And they're like, "Oh, I'm a good person. Do you remember Tim, when J Love talked about on that day of Thoughtmas, where she talked about the cruise ship, right? And do you remember what those girls told her? Oh, we're good girls. We don't do any of that stuff,
Yeah,
right?
we
Remember
don't
they
do
said
that
that?
stuff.
Oh, we're not like that. Because do you remember what is it they were trying to protect him? Reputation. And like all these Me Too feminists, do you know what they're really doing, Tim? Like when Emmett Till got fucking killed. Yeah. Hey, thanks, feminist Carolyn Bryant. The reason why Emmett Till was killed because it was about reputation. Brian Banks was thrown in a damn cage on a false accusation because of reputation. See, these thoughts try to protect their reputation, and when they can't, when the jig is up, I'm a good girl, I'm a good girl, and when they wind up in a room and there's 6 dudes standing over them, oh, it's because they raped me. No, it's because she's trying to protect her reputation. So the consequences of that, of course, is she runs to the courts, right? The consequences for the guys is, of course, hey, you got to go fight the court system, and you know how that's going to be, especially if it's a white chick. So I look at this whole thing as it plays out, and I truly believe there are going to be some women out there once they finally suffer the consequences of the guys are checking out, once the sex dolls come, once the courts get even worse and worse and worse, and just guys just basically just say, they throw up their hands and go, fuck it. They either move out of the country, or they move to the country, or to the country like Nick did. And either they start a family out there, or they just live peacefully. Like, I just want to be away from everything. I just don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, speaking of dolls, we got to get Phil back for a St. Patrick's Day live stream.
I'm gonna head to San Diego though. I'm gonna head to San Diego to get out of here. Hey, for everyone out there who's wondering, for all of you who watch the 12 Days of Thoughtmas, anyone out there in Southern Cal area, Miss San Diego told me that Thad's Swing Club is reopening on March 31st. Now, I don't know who's going to be in there. I don't know if you fuckers might find somebody who has both equipment or had something cut off or what. But yeah, Thad's reopens March 31st. Google the shit. Thad's San Diego Swing Club. Shameless promotion there. But yeah, Tim, I think there's going to be this I don't think it's going to be genuine regret, because women don't actually experience true regret and remorse. But it's going to be like this look of like, oh man, we really fucked it up, right?
We actually got an email about regret. I wanna bring in.
Oh yeah, definitely. We can go ahead and address that. I just got one last point to say before I wrap this up. And as a reaction to the ladies' side, and then for the guys, don't be an incel, man. Don't let the reputation of incel define you. Like, oh, Drex, I'm just so desperate for validation. I just want sex with women. Don't be that guy, man. Be the guy who's serious about his own goals, going his own path.
Look, if you need it that bad, get a spinning robot pussy, like DFM says.
Or hire a professional. It's the same as taking her out to dinner and drinks and movies and
Yeah,
5
how is
other
alimony
dates.
any different from prostitution? It's the same
For
thing.
real.
Shout
Gene
out to
Simmons
Dick
said
on
that.
one. That's old school Dick Masterson right there. That was Dr. Phil Dick Masterson.
Dude, look, prostitutes are honest. They hit you on the front end, right? Yo, this is my cost for whatever service I'm providing, right?
Yeah.
These women that claim that I'm not like that, they're hitting you on the back end when you got to invest a house, cars, kids, land, this, that, vacations. And it's like, when you look at all that, like I said, the average guy is not getting much. And as we talked about, shout out to everybody in the chat. We talk about this on numerous occasions. What's really going on in these relationships. That's why I give a shout out to my girl like J Love. She tells the truth of what's really going on in these relationships behind the scenes. When you guys see people out in public, that's their reputation talking. That's why, you ever noticed, Tim, it's always considered like shocking when somebody gets exposed for whatever it is, right? Whether it's child stuff, whether they're abusers, whether they're hitting people with remotes, and people are like, "Oh my god, I'm so shocked." But like if you really knew this person, like, I'm not shocked at all. This person's a scumbag. The reputation that you guys have believed and invested in, That is a front. I know the real person. Real person is a fucking scumbag, right? And that's why I tell these guys, don't get caught up in the incel, this, that, the other. Get caught up in your own goals, because the consequences of going for your own goals and focusing on you is that you get the spoils, right? So that's why I want to leave you guys with that. Ask older, wiser men and ask them, like, yo, I was going trying to go on this path, right? And they will tell you, yo, look, son, you can go down that path, understand all the consequences that could come with going down that route. That's why, Darth Lightskin and I talked about it earlier today when I said, yo, a lot of these dudes who are out there simping the hardest, right? Who think that's going to get them something. They're always shocked when the consequence doesn't align with their reputation, right? So Tim, a lot of male feminists truly believe that they're gonna get laid, right? Like that's the only reason they're doing what they're doing, right? And then it hits them. It hits them one day. They're like, how come I'm not getting the same consequence? In this case, they want some peace leave. And they're like, but this guy over here is doing the opposite of me, being an asshole, and he gets all that he wants. So of course they got to try to bring him down in all myriad ways, right? But these guys out here, like I said, there's all these different incels, red pill rage guys. Don't have rage, man. Don't be the guy who's angry. Be the guy who has fun with it. Like, yo, look, man, I know it's all messed up out here, and there's going to be some quality women. If you see a quality girl, give her the right guidance, because trust me, she's not getting it from anywhere else. And Tim, you and I talked about that, and we talked about that with Miss Leximus, which is, I asked Miss Leximus, I said, Miss Leximus, were there any girls really giving you like real advice? Like, do you know what she said? They wanted her to be a thought. Tim, her so-called, whether it be friends or just people in that environment, right? In that ecosystem, right? In the college ecosystem, they don't want you to prosper. You see what I'm saying? They want your reputation to get dragged down so you can suffer the consequences of their suffering, which is inability to pair bond. They got to pop pills, right? A lot of these broads are on antidepressants now and anti-anxiety medication.
Well,
They're
it all has to
going
do with
crazy.
happiness. No one wants another person to be happy if they can't be happy. So they turn to the pills because they're happy
Yeah.
pills.
Oh, yeah, and that's why they call it that, because they just want to
Or
feel
they end up
numb.
doing fucking hard drugs.
Absolutely. But you know what's funny though, Tim? I want you to think about the male perspective on that same topic. If a guy goes down the wrong path, have you ever heard of a guy who went down the wrong path encouraging guys to do what he did? Have you ever heard someone say that? Like, yeah, man, you should be a gangbanger and sell drugs and snort coke. And I've never seen that. They're always telling guys, don't do what I did. You ever notice that?
Yeah, you see those like interviews with like gangs, like legit gangsters, not
Yeah,
fucking
legit
fake
gangbangers.
gangsters,
Yep.
right? And they're like, man, if I could have the privilege of a spoiled white rich kid, I would.
Yep. Yeah, well, yeah, even the choices that they made, right? They realized that, yeah, remember when they were young and they were in the streets, they were going to war, they were banging, they were slanging. They built reputations, and they always talk about it. They go, in that gang culture, your reputation is everything, right? So you seek that. Remember, these are all betas. You seek that validation outside, right? It never comes from within. It's always, you got to keep pumping yourself up by being with more women, being more promiscuous, being more violent, more hyper violent, right? And you truly believe that's going to do something for you, right? Like, yeah, look at my reputation. I'm a killer, man. I'm a fucking killer. I'm wild. But all of a sudden, you start suffering consequences. And what are the consequences to being a gangbanger? Jail, shot up, seeing your friends die. You know what I'm saying? More jail, long stretches. You wind up killing somebody. Now you got a life straight. Maybe you get the death penalty. And maybe you got some bastard kids out there, and they grow up not being able to be with you. And you can even have retaliation come even after you change your life. You're like, yo, look, man, I don't want to do that. I'm not with that stuff no more. You know what I'm saying? I've cleaned up my life.
That's basically the premise of like every movie set in Chicago.
Yeah. Well, even
You
anything
try to
that
get
deals with
out
the
of the
Bushido.
game, and you're like, well,
You
actually, you
want to
know
lead
what?
life.
That's the fucking premise of a lot of action movies. You think of John Wick, right?
Even John
Trying to get
Wick.
out of the
Yep.
game, and the game forces him back in.
Dude, no one wants to be involved in that life. Trust me. You can ask anybody who's a part of that world, and they will tell you, like, dude, I don't want this. And that's why they say that's why they hate fake thugs. Like, dude, you shouldn't want to be looking for a reputation of a mad dog killer type. You should be wanting to, be in a healthy relationship or go your own way solo, but so long as it's healthy and it's positive, right? That's what these guys want these young kids to. I'm telling you, when you look at the feminists though, what are they telling them? Get tattoos, live your best life, go out there and get ran through, go do. But when it comes to dudes, Tim, I've seen this all my life. Guys who go down the wrong path have never ever encouraged guys to do the same thing. They're like, don't do it, man. Don't do this. Don't do that. And what happens? Here's the thing. Usually it's guys being, because they have that youthful machismo. You can't tell me what to do. You're just an old dude. And you always hope that you can reach some of these guys. Say, I know that I get frustrated sometimes when I'm telling guys what's going on out there. And some people are all, I get the shaming language and, oh, Drex is hurt. Who hurt you? Drex is bitter. It's like, no, dude, I've seen it from every angle. And I'm telling you, it's a total shit show out here, man. If you don't believe me, go ask the ladies. But ask the ladies, what is it like out there? Just like I said, whether it be at the workplace, the dating world, with hookup culture and everything, it's a total shit show, right? All the apps and everything. People end up developing these reputations. They've developed these reputations for being king schlong, you're Miss Fire Throat, all that, like I said, all that stuff. These women posting TikTok videos and doing challenges. It's like, but where's that going to get you in the long run? You know what I'm saying? Like a guy can always go and build wealth and gain resource and stuff and be content because men don't have to be with somebody. You see what I'm saying? They don't have to be. They can be, they can be. They don't have to be. Women need men. And women start doing, and you've seen this in your life, Tim. The girls who did the whole "I don't need no man" shtick. Have you ever seen what happens to those women later on in life when they can't get a man, right?
Where
When
are
they
all the
get
good
fat
men?
and old, we're all the
Yeah, they're
good men, right?
fat.
It's always the weight that goes first. It's like, what do you think, Tim? Do you think it's the weight that goes first, or is it the face that goes first?
Uh, I would say it's the weight that goes first, and then it sags the face down with it.
Yep. And then they got to kick on more makeup, right? And then they got to shame men and call the men gay or say something and what happened?
Fat-phobic.
Yeah, fat phobic. Yeah, they kind of come up with all these coping mechanisms because ultimately, it. Think about it though, Tim. What is their reputation when they get to that point, right? Like, let's just go find an attractive girl who's 20, and then see that same girl after she wouldn't listen to nobody, right? And now she's 40, saying, "Where have all the good men gone?" Ask what her reputation was at 20, though. Oh yeah, she's just a fast ass girl. You can't tell her nothing. She's a bitch. She's a this and that and the other. And when you fast forward, dude, Tim, I've seen this in my own eyes countless times because I'm 38 years old. If you had asked me about women's reputations when I was 18, I'd have been like, yeah, I mean, some girls are a little bitchier than others because they didn't have that kind of mileage on them, right? They didn't have, kids by 3, 4, 5 different men. They didn't get ran through by them. So you look back and you're kind of like, yeah, I mean, yeah, that girl's this way or that way, but it's, she's a little annoying. She's this and that, but it was never something extreme. Like I can honestly say, Tim, I didn't see anything that I could say like a personality from a woman, like in terms of her consequences. Nothing was extreme. But when you get 20 years older and now you're fat, you're unattractive, all your options are gone as a woman. All you can be the best you can do is be a jump off. A dude swipes right going, it's a thirsty Thursday. Why not smash? That's the most you can get out of a guy now. That's why if you noticed him, it's always the post-wall chicks complain about they can't get a relationship, right? But have you noticed you're starting to see a trickle down, right? I am starting to, and this is from multiple sources. I'm starting to hear more and more younger chicks being like, "These guys won't commit." See, when you're giving out your body,
It's
ladies,
funny though when you say multiple sources, you sound like a CNN reporter talking about Donald Trump.
yeah,
Multiple sources in the White House tell me, and
right?
turns out it's just a huge fucking lie.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I
those
hate
people are
that. I
insane.
hate that phrase. It just grinds me.
The multiple
Multiple
sources,
people have told me, multiple sources. A lot of people have asked me, right? It's like,
yeah. It could have been
bullshit.
like 2 or 3.
Yeah. Maddox does that a lot, right? When Maddox posts, he's like, a lot of people have been asking me about, so I'm going to come forward, right? When he was doing that whole like rape apologist video for against Dick.
Oh Jesus, really?
Yeah, like that's how he talks. Because nobody asked him shit. right? You can tell just by the tone. A lot
Of
of
course.
people have asked me about so and so. Well, I'm going to give you the truth, right? Nobody asked you shit.
Nobody.
You wanted the attention,
Of course.
right? Multiple sources inside the White House told me that Donald Trump strangled a kitten today. Yeah, no one told you
It's like
shit. You
no one
just
told you
wanted
shit.
attention,
Yeah.
right? So I hate that phrase. Sorry, I derailed you, but oh man. Well, I know we can't be going around doxing people too, obviously,
Well,
but
yeah. You get the and that's why I always tell people like, when I've done shows where I tell people like, who's telling me like, I was at my cousin's and it was, he's only 19, 20. Like you come from all these different angles. And to understand the hookup culture, it's best to talk to all these different people, right? Men, women, different colors, different ethnicities, different like environments, right? When you talk to somebody who's in a major city, like a major, like Chicago, right? Chicago, LA, they're gonna have a different. They're gonna be like, "Yo, man, it's
Thunder
all
Bay,
fucked up out here."
Ontario.
Yeah. But it's gonna be fucked up because they're gonna tell you like, "Yo, man, it's a mess out here," and then you start talking, you're like, "How come I keep getting the same answers from everybody, regardless of where they are?" Tim, we've talked about this. You look at what's going on in some of these countries around the world where guys are literally just they're checking out in mass numbers, right? In mass, it makes the news. They're like, "Oh my god, the marriage rate has collapsed. The birth rate has collapsed. Oh my, what are we doing? Men don't want to see. They'd rather just play games than date. What happened?" It's like, look at their options. And there was something that I took from the Joker video. I sat there, I watched. I like to read comments. I like to see what the people are saying. Right? There was something very telling, man. And it's telling, but it's also kind of sad. Like, and I want to read this. There was a guy on Joker's comment. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to dox the guy, but he has a comment there. Even though there's 5.7 thousand comments, so I'm sure someone can sift through it. And this is what it says, man. I want you guys to hear this. And this is in regards to Joker, a Better Bachelor's video about men and young boys being more into playing video games than casual hookups and stuff, right? And this is his comment. This does concern me. My son plays games with his buddies online a lot, is a great student, excels at rugby and chess, etc. He's 17, straight, a nice kid, but is really not interested in a girlfriend. We discussed it and he simply said, "Yeah, forget it. I'm flying solo." I asked him if it was because of anything at home, which was unlikely, and he said, "No. I just see no reason to get married and I plan to stay single." And then he says, "I do realize he is still quite young. However, this is pretty accurate. This is a pretty accurate segment by Joker. And from what I see out there, I really can't blame the boys. Wife is Chinese from Taiwan, and he is mixed race. Although it's disappointing to hear him say it, it appears that women, especially Western women, as well as Hong Kong women, yeah, let that sink in, guys, even women in the East, are so toxic, they are just not worth it." Funny how they go on about quote unquote toxic masculinity, but all the nice kids don't want to have anything to do with them. The classic is when women say grow up, quote unquote, which really translates to get married, quote unquote, right? And it says somehow marrying a toxic, demanding, sarcastic, demeaning, self centered beach whale just doesn't make sense. Think about that, Tim. Do you know why that's so important? That's a father. So think about it. He played the game by a whole different set of rules in a different era, right? And his son is 17. We talk about TikTok in the live chat, right? We talk about with Phil. TikTok is very real, man. I've seen it. And here's the thing. There are people out there that say, "Oh, who cares, Drex? The girls are this and that and the other." I go, they're only that for a while. And Tim, we've talked about this. All these women claim how strong and independent they are, how tough they are, how they don't need nobody when they're at their peak sexual market value, right? Let's see where these women are at 20 years from now compared to the guys. Just watch. Just watch where they end up. That reputation, the reputation of being a gamer does not hurt a guy. You can shame him and try to pretend he's lame, but Tim, let me ask you something. When you were, going to college, do you remember how many guys could you say played no games at all? Like they just did not play video games?
Uh there was a few.
A few, right? But
Yeah,
okay.
the kind of jocks, the jock people, right?
But even jocks play games. They just play sports games.
They do. Most of them do, but there was a few that didn't.
Yeah. There's always going to be, but you would say that the overwhelming majority of males play video games, right?
Oh yeah.
That was not the case back in the day. Back in the day, you could bump into dudes like you could bump into like I said, it wasn't like a huge number, but a sizable number of guys who like either didn't play games or like really, very casually, like, oh yeah, I got a Nintendo, I guess, or yeah, my parents got me a Sega Genesis or Mega Drive for Christmas. Like, yeah, I play every now and then. Like they're overly casual and kind of nonchalant. What I'm seeing out there is that these guys are not nonchalant. These guys are actually fucking gaming, right? They hook up their Bluetooth. They're ready to go for hours on end. And that the article that Joker covered talked about that women are drinking more. And Tim, I've seen it. I've seen women drinking more. Like they're getting more and more desperate for attention and
It's the
validation.
happy
Dude,
juice.
it's
They're
it's
going
happening.
for happy
It's to numb
juice.
themselves, dude. They have to numb themselves, man, and that is sad. But it's like, but this is what happens when this is what you wanted, though, right? It's what you wanted.
This is your utopia.
Absolutely.
Any closing thoughts before we get into emails?
Well, there's always thoughts, but I don't have
closing
thoughts right now. But yeah, that is basically it for this, man. I just want you guys to really take that to heart. That watch the reputation of yourself, but also something I didn't cover was just the reputation of the people that you hang around, man. Really pay attention to that because that can wind up harming you. I didn't touch on that.
Well, let's pull in some viewer emails and we'll call it a night.
Smooth.
Man, I got so many emails since the last time we went through the inbox. I can't get to them all. Some of them are really long. I want to get a couple that are relevant to this episode out of the way.
Okay, go ahead.
Speaking of regrets, that's the subject of an email that someone had sent in to us. Well, this guy's a big fan of yours, Drex, and he's wondering if he could get some perspective on his situation. He's 20 years old and been boxing as a sport since he was 9 or 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he got his pretty serious leg injury in junior year of high school.
Ooh.
He says it's better now, and it's not really a hindrance of him walking, but he still goes to physical therapy. He still goes to the gym to spar and practice, but it seems like this is basically taking him out of the high level, doing this stuff professionally, right? Mm-hmm. And he kind of based his whole life about like training to go to the Olympics or going pro.
Oh, wow.
Dominated his whole life. He based his whole life around the idea like, I'm going to go pro with boxing. And then he sees other boxers, living the dream. They're really not, but
so
anyways.
He thinks, yeah.
Yeah. And he can't help but think, I wish that was me. The grass is always greener on the other side, isn't it?
Yeah, that's going to happen to anybody. Yeah, I understand where he's going through in terms of, if, especially when you lost it to an injury. I get where he's going. Yep. Yeah,
so his question is, how does he get over kind of the point of regret and kind of, always like wishing everything was different? He wants to move on, but he just can't seem to get himself out of this mental rut that he's put himself into.
Here would be my suggestion, which is take what you, do you remember at the end of Star Wars Episode 6, which is Return of the Jedi, when Yoda is dying and he tells Luke to do what? Pass on what you have learned, right? Sometimes
you want him to like Rocky 4. Was it Rocky 4?
Tommy,
Mick
dies in part 3.
Was it Tommy?
Oh yeah, Tommy Morrissey. Yeah, Rocky 5. Yep.
Rocky 5.
Yeah, Tommy Gunn. Yep.
Yeah, Tommy Gunn. Yeah. You want him to do that?
Yeah. Because remember, just because sometimes life happens, right? And it sucks, and you don't get to always fulfill your dreams. But sometimes you got to remember, just because that may not have meant to be, right? You just got unlucky. Your knowledge of the sport didn't change, right? Because your brain is the same. Your brain is still intact. You can still take on what you've learned, and it reminds me of.
You're actually lucky that your brain is still intact because you haven't gotten a concussion yet.
Yeah. Nothing happened that makes you like the worst thing is if you obviously had some form of like actual paralysis, but to say that the only thing that you really lost was the ability to compete at the highest level. You still have all of that muscle memory, the knowledge of what to do. You can start doing outreach, start helping these kids, right? Boys and girls, right?
Well, if you're 20 years old, there's got to be a high schooler, right, that goes to the gym, the same gym that you train at, And yeah, someone younger than you, or maybe, I don't know, could you train someone who's older than you?
Yep. Yep. Because you remember, all people really care about is the information, right? And when it comes
Right.
to, do you know where you actually see this a lot? You see this a lot at health clubs. Like, I went to one of those big box gyms, and a buddy of mine was a martial arts instructor, right? And because a lot of the guys who do martial arts, they start turning into like fitness gyms also, right? Like, hey, a girl wants to get into better shape and still learn, takedowns and takedown defense and stuff like that, self defense stuff. She will go into those classes. So like, you can be teaching someone who, and this is for dudes too, someone who's older or younger than you. Your instructor could be younger than you. When it comes to learning something, people don't usually, they aren't too discriminate in terms of who's teaching them. As long as you look the role, you are the role, they don't really care, you know.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about going pro with basketball?
No.
No.
Nope.
Was it like kind of get you through college and it was fun kind of thing?
Yeah, like, here's my thing. Once you got to a certain point in basketball, like, I went to a D1 JUCO, and you get they all the the big schools come and check you out when you're at fall league, spring league, this and you get letters, and when you go back to your locker after a practice, you'll see like letters like, oh, this is from this university, that university, whatever. And it's cool and all, but it's like, here's the thing. If your heart isn't in it, and my heart wasn't really in it, because it wasn't fun, right? If something's not fun, you're like, you're going through pains to do it. You see what I'm saying? And that
Right.
was kind of like my take on basketball. Once it stopped being fun, I was just kind of like, eh. It's kind of like those guys who work a job that pays them really well. They don't necessarily like the job, like, well, but it pays all the bills well. So I mean, I'll suffer through it, right? That's basically what basketball was for me.
Okay. Yeah, I think you could kind of see, I didn't really have that. I didn't have a chance at going pro in hockey before my leg injury took me out of the sport. Like there was a gap of about 4 years where I already knew I wasn't going pro. Then my leg injury happened. So I really can't sympathize with that, and I didn't really play hockey out of like in college or anything like that. You understand this guy a lot better than I do.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So here's the thing. I had the physical tools to, at least I was good enough to play overseas. In terms of like just pure physical ability, right? And I had multiple coaches say that, like, yo, Drexel, you really applied yourself. I just couldn't, because I just, dude, you have to have a passion for it. Like, you have to really like look, like, I kid you not. You can ask anybody. I competed harder in like an open gym, just like just playing 21. Like, I competed harder just being at the gym, just playing against guys than I ever did in a game.
Yeah.
Because that now it's on your time.
Because it sounds like this guy, he's going back to the gym because he still thinks it's fun, right? Like the
Yep.
reason he keeps going back, it sounds like it's still fun for him.
Yeah, dude. Here's the thing. Sometimes, and I love the original Rocky. One of the things I love the most about the original Rocky is that you could see it through Mick's eyes how proud he was of Rocky when they got their 1 in a million shot. Because you got to remember, Mick even says, he goes, when you step in that ring, you're gonna be ready. You know why? Because I waited 60 years to make you ready. That's the thing, though. Sometimes, yes, you got a raw deal, right? Things happen, but he didn't want that for Rocky, and Mick really did want Rocky to give it his absolute best shot, right? And sometimes, yeah, you do. You can go train people and stuff, and all that, and you can get a sense of fulfillment. Because remember, who's to say that someone that you train doesn't go all the way, right? Like, if someone asked you, "Hey Tim, what do you think would give you more satisfaction? You doing it yourself, or you groomed somebody to achieve your dream, right? Because remember, if it's your dream, it's probably their dream, right? And you're there.
Yeah, I can't say which one I'd prefer because I don't have the right frame of mind. Like I was never close enough to know what exactly greatness is for me. Okay, actually, you know what? Hang on. Let me walk that back a second. Um, what if I started training someone to mountain climb like I do? Because now, I was in a hospital and I had all my health issues, right? So maybe I got to take myself
Mhm.
out of my. Maybe I can't climb Mount Everest after all, but I want to
Yep.
train someone who can do it for me.
Yep.
But then you run the risk that single moms do to their kids all the time, and it's pushing their failed dreams onto their kids.
Yeah. Yeah, where's the thing, though? If someone's coming to you, they came with their dream, though. I think that's the difference. when if you're gonna be like running your own gym, they're coming to you with their dream. You see what I'm saying? Like they're coming to you in your gym and they want to be the champ. Like, it's kind of like what happened with Mike Tyson, right? When Cus D'Amato got a hold of Mike Tyson out of the fucking group home, he was a menace to society, right? He brought Mike lived with Cus D'Amato. He ate boxing, slept boxing, he breathed boxing, right? So Cuss was telling Mike, yo, Mike, you're going to be the heavyweight champion of the world. It wasn't that big of a deal to Mike because remember, he's just a street kid from Brooklyn, right? However, the more he's doing it, you could, and they talk about it. You've seen the videos of a young Mike Tyson. He looked like a monster because he enjoyed it because, he got fulfillment from it. Like, oh my God, I found something I'm good at. And so when you start getting paid millions to do it, you're like, holy shit, I'm getting paid millions to beat up someone in a ring. When I was doing this in the street, I was going to jail. You see what I'm saying? Like you will get that fulfillment if your protege achieves your dream, you will get that same fulfillment.
Okay. I think that's pretty good advice for this guy. Yeah, absolutely. Like if this is still your passion, if you still love boxing, it's going to show every time you're at that gym. And it's not going to happen now. It won't happen next week. Maybe not even in a year. But you'll get your chance. You'll get your chance to take a young guy under your wings who's got a similar fight style to you. You can see the younger version of yourself in that kid. And you're like, all right, that's the one. That's the one I'm grabbing. And we're gonna train him. We're gonna teach him. Because that's the thing too. There are a lot of self-made professionals out there, but then you start thinking, man, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but you think of like some of the best coaches in in the four major sports, right? Like the Bill Belichick's, right? And you think, well, what if this like player who had so much potential, first overall draft pick, what if Belichick got his hands on that guy?
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll look at it like this though. Belichick never made it to the NFL, right? So think about it. Okay, let's say this guy is a future Bill Belichick, right? If you ask Belichick right now, and remember, he was passionate about the game, obviously, right? I mean, he made it to the collegiate level. But if you ask high school, I want to say collegiate. I believe Bill Belichick did reach the collegiate level. He majored in economics, right? I bet you if you were to ask him, what gives Belichick more fulfillment, winning games as a player or winning it as a coach, right? Like winning Super Bowls as a coach. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
I bet you he gets more fulfillment as a coach because
I think so too.
Achieve his goal, but like there's something to be said about you may
his
have
name's
lost
still on the Lombardi Trophy either way.
Yep.
But then everyone's thanking him, right? Like everyone's thanking him.
And that's the thing. Like you get the same validation. Like because let's face it, everybody kind of wants that validation that hey, yeah, I did it, right? And there's no shame in that.
Yeah, because I mean, Tom Brady, greatest quarterback of all time, possibly the greatest football player of all time, and he's up there saying, "Well, I gotta thank the coach because the coach gave us a game plan, right?" And Edelman's like, "Oh, we gotta thank the coach," and Gronk is like, "We gotta thank the coach," and Amendola and Butler, right? The guy had the goal line interception on the Seahawks, right? They're all thanking the coaches, right? So not only do you have your name on the Lombardi Trophy, but now everyone's thanking you for bringing them there.
Yeah, dude, everyone remembers the coach.
Yeah, you can have the coach versus player argument all day long, but that's not relevant here. Like you can't be the player by the sounds of it, but you can be the coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's good advice for this guy.
Absolutely.
I hope he hears
keep
this.
Us posted on that too. Keep us posted.
Yeah, absolutely. Find your Tommy Gunn. Like that if you wanna sum up the advice in one sentence, find your Tommy Gunn. And don't fall into the traps too, because there's two big traps here, right? The first trap we talked about, that's pushing your dream onto someone else.
Correct. Yeah. You don't want that.
When you make their success about you.
Yeah,
right?
That's different.
Wrong. Yeah, you're doing it wrong. You're being a single mom at that point.
Correct. Yeah, the pageant moms.
Oh God. The other trap you fall into is that you're trying to force it. So you're looking at people who fight differently than you. They don't have the same fighting style. you're not going to get along together very well, and you start forcing it. You get the first person who comes up, right? And you're like,
Mhm.
this has to be the one.
Yeah, you gotta be a little more measured in your approach. Yeah, you gotta be patient. You gotta be a little more measured in your approach, other than just, oh, hey, this is the first person that walked in, so yeah, that's got to be them. Like,
It's got to be the one. Yeah, better articulated than me, Drex. But yeah, that's what I was trying to say. We got an email about white nationalists.
oh yeah, what's that?
This emailer says that white nationalists are the biggest, most worthless simps you can find.
I've always
They
said that.
think, yeah. And TFM went in on them too, right?
Yeah,
That and the
absolutely.
LARPers, who are the Boogaloo people.
Yeah, dude. Look, do you remember what I always said though, Tim? Strip away the illusion, right? Just like I said about Kevin Samuels. When you like I said, I'm a huge fan of Donovan Sharp. I'm a big fan of Kevin Samuels. I'm subscribed to both of their channels. I like their content, but it doesn't mean I don't see that these guys are glorified PUAs. Donovan Sharp has all these courses about game, right? Getting guy, game. It's like, dude, I mean, like with the laws the way they are, Tim, like, is that really a smart move? Like if I had a son, I would never tell him to get married. I would never tell him to even dating. I'd be like, you know what I'm saying? And for Kevin Samuels, he's always saying like, oh no, yeah, you gotta be a high value man, but should be a target for these bitches to take more of your resources. So when these white nationalists come up, it's like, look, I know you guys are fake because they talk all this like racist rhetoric, pseudo racist rhetoric,
Yeah,
right?
they think that kicking out the brown people is suddenly a bunch of white women are going to come and jump on their cock.
Correct. And it's like, bro, that's not true. Like, first of all, why don't you ask how many brown dicks have been in this broad? Because I can assure you, these chicks are getting with every kind of man you can imagine, right?
Yeah. If there are no
Every
brown dicks,
kind.
she'll find black dicks. If there are no black dicks, she'll find yellow dicks. If there's no
Yep.
yellow dicks, she'll find purple dicks.
Yeah, dude, they're doing nothing but experimenting in these schools, man. So yeah, these guys are super simps, man. I've been around them. I understand them. That's why I said, look, I've told you about military guys, cops. These dudes are fucking simps, man. They worship women. Like I'm talking. You will never find a bigger worshiper of the white race than a fucking white nationalist or a damn cop. It's like, ugh, God. Well, you ever notice that they believe everything that these women say? Like, when they show up to the door of a domestic violence, or a call is made. Do you ever notice what happens? They just take whatever she says, like anything she
Yeah.
says. Yeah, we know, ma'am.
No, he
Yes,
says in
yes, we know.
email, all women are just women, right?
Yeah, dude.
The color doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter, man. People get so caught up in all this, colorism and fucking,
Because
dude, they're all
like
the same.
German shepherds are less the color of the woman's skin and
It's
the
a
culture
mindset.
that they're raised in.
Absolutely, yeah. So I
Right?
have to
Because
clear
you could
that up.
have white German shepherds. That is possible.
Absolutely,
And you could have
absolutely.
based black women.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it has nothing to do
Like
with skin color.
Anna's black, right?
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
mixed, but yeah.
Well, yeah.
Same difference.
Same difference. But yeah,
Same difference.
like so yeah, and he ends the email with yeah, Nick Fuentes is a cat boy loving gay boy, and Baked Alaska is just embarrassing. Huh.
Hmm.
Well, I don't know. I don't really know any of these people. I know Ethan Ralph is. I believe that he's degenerate just based on that bullshit he got into with that 18 or 19-year-old.
Mm. Mm.
Like some of the chat leaks are pretty fucking gross. Um, yeah.
That's weird. Like,
I don't like him very much. I absolutely hate his content. I've seen a few of his videos. I'm not a fan of it at all.
yeah, I don't even know what his
Um,
content is. Like I said, like,
oh,
I.
he's one of these like perform for the camera live
Oh
streamers,
yeah.
right? Like Boogie or oh fuck, or those those like prank in the hood guys,
Yep. Oh, one of
right?
those guys got killed.
Oh yeah, that was
You heard about
we
that?
talked about that. I think.
Yeah, and well, even the dude, Tyrone, got shot. I don't know if you ever saw that dude. He was he'd walk up and go, I'm Tyrone, I'm here to fuck your wife, and he got shot for real, man.
Oh boy.
Like,
But yeah, Ethan Ralph is like a live he's a performer for a camera. Anyways, I'm not a fan of his content at all.
mm.
Oh god, he goes after Ivanka Trump. feminist Ivanka Trump.
And she
Fuck
is,
Tommy
man.
Lauren.
Yep.
Spelt her name wrong. Lauren Southern, Shoe on Head, Lacey Green. I know some of these people, but not all of them. Yeah, this is it's quite an angry email. But yeah, I think like the gist of the email is, I don't think, maybe of that list of people, Nick Fuentes is the closest to a white nationalist, but I don't throw that word around like all the fucking left-wing media does. You really gotta be, look, you had to have published a blog that says kill all black people before I'll start being like, yeah, that's probably a white nationalist.
It's just silly when you, well, you remember there's always these different levels, right? There's black, there's nationalists, and there's
Supremacist and
you white supremacists, like which are very different. I always make sure I separate those two.
well, if people are
Um,
talking about the ethno state, you're probably a white nationalist. I don't think any of those people in that list have actually no state.
well,
The people
you know what I
pushing
always say?
segregation right now is the Democrats.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I push gender segregation, but
Well, that doesn't count.
do you know what the thing is
That's
though?
just good policy.
Right? Well, with everything, the way things are going.
Yeah,
But one
exactly.
of the things I find to be very funny is that when I look at Japan, Japan is a fucking ethno state. How did that work out for them? Feminism is the problem. Once people start there, like so Tim, everyone needs to start there. Every time they say, "Did you empower your women?" That's your problem. That's why your society is fucking collapsing. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, brown, blue.
TFM was talking about Singapore, right? Like, it's
Yep.
illegal to pit groups of people against each other, like class warfare, race warfare. Like, they'll just straight up lock you up. But the one thing they didn't ban was gender warfare. So,
Correct. So you
yeah,
have
yeah,
feminism there too.
by the way, if you want to hear the full TFM interview, you need to be a Patreon or Subscribe star, at least at the $5 level. But yeah, if you want to hear the full, I think the final episode was like 4 hours long, or maybe just a hair under 4 hours. If you want to hear bonus episode 3, where we interview turd flinging monkey who, got deplatformed off everything.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Support the show. We make those bonus episodes as a thank you to people who support the show. Yeah. Anything else about the kind of the white cucks, we're gonna call them?
I just think more people, like more white guys, need to call these guys out because, dude, I've always said, like, okay, do you know what? Okay, I'll tell you who the white nationalist reminds me of, Tim. They remind me of the black nationalist, right? The guy who's all black power, black this, black,
Yeah.
and they will
Panther
check.
people.
Yeah, they will check for a bottom shelf Becky in a heartbeat, bro. Well, here's the thing: the movie "Don't Be a Menace" actually parodied that very concept, right? No,
Well, you got a pretty good look at
African
them.
queen.
Fucking in Forrest Gump, you got a pretty good look at how they treated what's her name, Jenny.
Yep. Yeah, dude. It happens, bro. Like they run trains on these, bro. But when it comes to the black nationalist dudes, these guys are all about black this, black that. They're out here smashing all the Beckys and Mei Lings and Mari Sauls.
Yeah.
Come on, man. People can't be serious with this nationalism bullshit.
Anyways, also thanks to everyone who commented and emailed in, wishing me speedy recovery and getting well and whatnot. Didn't have a chance to respond to all of them, but I saw them and I appreciate it. Like I said, you guys can go back to hating me now. I'll be fine. One last email we'll get to, and we'll sign off for tonight. Yeah, this person's written in before a couple of times. Quick shout out to me for not dying.
Nice.
But then the second part of the email is regarding skin in the game and being willing to call out for changes in law. And she kind of wonders, it's a she kind of wonders how someone would go about doing this. She can't really say she's got skin in the game because she's long-term married, right?
Well, you can still have, okay, so the thing, all women can have skin in the game. And the way that you have skin in the game is, okay, watch this. Women in general are all over social media, right? They're always on their phone. They're always on social media, right? Would you say that? Like most women in general are always looking down at their phone, right? Women in general are virtue signaling, right? BLM. I bet you if you guys went to like a BLM march or something, do you know who you would see the most of? White women. White women. So rather than just sitting there just virtue signaling, no. You are now going to virtue signal for the total eradication of family court and then put your money where your mouth is. Demand the total destruction of the family court. You can start on social media and then start all that energy that you have, or the energy that you don't have to do anything. You can put that shit into the total eradication of family court. Anything short of that, I don't trust you. I don't believe you. Because Tim, think about it. A lot of male feminists get exposed as being actual abusers, right? But even though they were virtue signaling. Whereas what happens when you
Andrew
are
Cuomo's one
actively
of them.
doing something? Wait, what's that again?
Andrew Cuomo's
Oh
one
yeah,
of them.
fucking cuckmo. But therein lies my point, though. Virtue signaling is one thing, but I want you to see, because watch this, Tim. What if women started saying, going to you remember they're local judges and stuff, right? And demanding that the only person that we are going to support is a person that destroys this fuck show of a family court, right? Which means equal parenting time and no child support. Anything short of that, I don't trust you. I don't want to hear anything you have to say. Nope, you're not an ally.
Well,
Because
and
I wouldn't.
she's got a story here about
what's that?
someone she knows. They're married. The guy was really well off financially. They had a daughter together, divorced. He hired a high-powered lawyer, so I'm guessing he had a really big nose. And set some looks like some pretty strict conditions on custody for the mother, which is kind of shocking to me. Apparently, if she takes the daughter across the state lines, and I think this is in New Jersey, he automatically gets custody and she can't contest it, which is bullshit. She absolutely can contest it. All she has to do is let the tears flow and say she signed it under duress.
Yep. You're a woman. You have the woman card, so you're not going to be held accountable for anything.
So, but according to the term, she can't get a cheaper place over in across the state line, get a better paying job, lower taxes. The daughter is a teenager right now, but I'm reading that story and I'm like, yeah, the family court's fucked. Even when the man wins, it's someone's getting fucked over by the family court.
Well, here's the thing, though. Remember what I said. Here's the thing. As it stands now, there are very few cases where men win family court in any form or fashion, right? Like, how many times do you hear a guy say, "Oh yeah, I got full custody and I don't pay," or "She pays me"? Almost never, right? It almost never happens. Okay, so you got to remember, 93% of alimony payments go to women. 93%, right? But if you ask me, Tim, I wouldn't want women to get hosed.
That's kind of, I think, the point she was making, right?
Because that would make me a fraud.
The family court still fucked someone.
No, but so here's the thing, though. The problem with family court is that the law needs to be federal. In the event that couples don't work out, here is the federal law, which means the whole child support scam, that's gone. The whole custody scam, that's gone. Because remember, once you take away the benefits of breaking up, people will either just not do it or be like, well, look, man, you're not going to gain nothing. Like fighting in court isn't going to do anything because they're like this. Dude, prime example, Tim. In Manhattan, it's illegal to have a firearm or whatever, right? Or to fire a firearm, right? So when Plexico Burris shot himself, everyone's like, dude, you're going to lose the case, right? Like there's no wiggle room, right? This is the law. That's that. The federal law needs to be that. Like, so no matter what state you're in, you don't have to worry about, what if we break up? Do I just get to not see my kid, whether I'm a man or a woman? Nope. It's going to be equal parenting time. Now, if something is in the way, like, someone that lives in another state or they're moving to the job, then it can get worked out. But the important thing to know is this is not going to be some legalized extortion with child support, right? Or the default, the kid just goes with mom, or she can just say that you'd abuse them, and that's just an automatic loss. Like, no. All of that is gone. See? Because remember, the courts got in the way. Well, Tim, think about it. When you look at all the statistics, right, about what has happened in the West when it comes to like I said, gangs, drugs, teen pregnancies, that came from no father in the home. It didn't come from not having a mom in the house, right? So when you take away the contention, and like I said, there are bad guys out there. There's bad fathers, bad men, bad husbands. They do exist. However, if you have a system that does not hurt the other person, people start thinking twice about trying to do fuck shit because it won't help you. That's where I'm always coming from.
Well, anyway, that's going to do it for the emails. Yeah, I think it's been going about an hour and 40 minutes now, so pretty good length episode.
Slick.
Any closing thoughts? Any programming notes we want to talk about? I gotta reach out to Phil, make sure he's available for Thursday, but I don't foresee any issues.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah. Oh, Phil's like the unofficial co-host of this show.
I know, right?
And you're gonna get Duke. You're gonna get Duke, right? We gotta get Duke in here.
So don't worry. We will be getting ghetto gaggers on. Don't worry, guy. I know. It's taking longer.
We're blue balling. You know what? This is worse than the Thad story blue ball, right? Because we knew it was coming on December 25th.
Yeah,
Duke
right.
is like, is he ever gonna come?
Yeah. Don't worry. Yeah. So we're still talking. We're still talking. We're just trying to figure that out because he had to get equipment also. So
I will fucking mail.
Yeah. And Fax said something. DNA test on birth should be default. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Paternity fraud needs to end. Yeah. Automatic. Like. And you know what? Honestly, though, Tim, I think that should be a determining factor in custody. Right.
Well, they do all these genetic tests on unborn kids, right? To check for like Down syndrome and whatnot. Why can't they just be like, yeah, the kid's yours?
Man, look, a lot of people will get exposed. Trust me. The father is actually a married dude. He's this guy. Like, I'm telling you, man, trust me. Even when these girls go on Maury, these women know who the father is. A lot of times, trust me, they actually know.
I
just
always
brought out
think
all the
that,
guys they slept
like,
with.
they have this kind of sixth sense. You know, they just kind of know. They know when
women
they've
know.
been knocked up.
Even if a woman has been with 5 guys and within a 2-week span, and when she could have gotten pregnant in her ovulation cycle, she knows. If you ask her details, she's like, "Yeah, I know who the father is." So when she brings all those dudes out and she's making an ass of herself and them, she knows deep down, like, "Yeah, I know none of these guys were going to be the dad." Because I'm saying the real father is a guy who she's not supposed to be with, right? He's underage, or he's over the age, or he's like I said, he's married.
The best friend of like.
I was just about to say that the best friend's husband, like, it's somebody that would cause shame. Look, that goes into our issue with reputation, right?
Yeah.
The shame would be because of who would get exposed, right? And that's why she lies about it.
So
I don't know who it could be.
Yeah. You know, they would go to court and they'd say, well, it's my right to privacy. The doctor can't be ratting me out like this. And it's like,
No. When it comes to taking responsibility for another life on Earth, yeah, we need to get this right. we need to get this one right.
Yeah. Well, we haven't yet. We have yet to get this right ever. That will do it for this week, everyone. Thank you for listening to episode 16. You know where to find us. Everything's in the description. We'll see you again next week. Stay frosty, everyone.
Peace.